How are you? I don't know how I follow Mark Warner, Amy Klobuchar, but I'll do my best. I'm Shalanda Young, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, and I have a very particular issue I want to talk about, and frankly, one thing that should make us excited about AI. The government already uses artificial intelligence. The benefit of the government investing in artificial intelligence is because our job is to serve the American people. And one thing we are doing, and the President Biden has tasked us with doing, is improving customer service. The government actually cares that people like their experience with the government and often the reputation, and we have a long road to improve on. A long-standing reputation is people don't like dealing with the government. And so we have a customer service experience team at the Office of Management and Budget that is doing exactly this. And AI, why I'm here to talk about this is because AI just shows so much potential in making this job of customer service experience easier from a federal perspective. The government interacts with millions of people every day. A few examples: 1 in 4 people have Medicaid service, so their health care comes from the federal government. And do we stack up to your experience dealing with your private insurers? We should. This is people's health care. They deserve easy access to it as any of us do dealing with our insurers. And that's not including Medicare, those who are on Medicare. Approximately 42 million people are managing student loans. I was one of them, happy to not be one of those 42. Thank you so much. 4 million Americans become eligible for Social Security benefits each year. More than 25 million individuals and families survive a federally recognized natural disaster. You're looking at someone from Louisiana who went home to help her parents navigate how you get through federal resources and state resources to help rebuild after disaster in Louisiana. So these are all important to me, and as someone who would like for their family not to have to ask them to fly down in order to navigate federal resources. You shouldn't have to have your appropriations staffer at the time daughter come home and try to help you navigate federal aid. At their core, all of these government services are available to help people. However, people have to navigate a tangle of websites. When I started in the federal government many, many years ago, a couple decades ago, at one point in my career, I remember doing usability tests on websites. We've gone far beyond that now, but it hasn't changed the crux of why we did that. Can you find what you come to the government to look for? What we didn't ask ourselves is why this agency had 50, 60 websites. People don't come to the government and think of them in their bureaucratic ways of organizing. And we have to do a better job of having people be able to find the resources they're looking for and use it once they find it. This is a result of how government has been built over years. We have legislative texts, authorizations, statutes. So that is how we present ourselves to the public, by the way we were created, not by how people access and think about services. And while we know there are burdens in accessing services, they don't fall equally on all communities. When a disaster survivor or veteran waits months for the government to deliver a service to which they are entitled, that lost time is significant. And also, we might lose somebody who's just fed up with their government. They have access, they know they have access to benefits, they can't get them. And to me, the worst thing is people losing faith in their government when they have served, they know they have veterans benefits, they know they should be getting medical care, and they just decide to give up. That's why we believe we need to make government work better for everyone. The Biden administration has been tackling this head on and making it simpler to interact with the government. This work is powered by the President's executive order on customer experience, which helps the federal government to work better as a 21st century service delivery enterprise. This EO directs every agency to put the needs of customers first to truly make government work best for the people. We've made important progress over the last 3 years, but our work isn't done. And that brings us to why you all here today. I want to thank Arthi and the OSTP team for bringing us together to talk about this. And this goes to the crux. I've gotten to talk about AI in several venues. And one thing people ask us, like, what is the government's posture? Are we afraid of AI? Are we going to restrict usage of AI? This is actually an opportunity for us to embrace the exciting changes and show that this power can be used for good, especially for services. But it also reminds me, if we get it wrong and we don't marry the need to improve government service and use AI to do that in a way that is beneficial for people, but that is fair, it doesn't bring biases into systems that are in systems now. We don't use AI to actually equitably deliver. We will lose people in their trust. So this, at the forefront, we shouldn't be afraid of what this will bring, but we do have to make sure, I think somebody put it simply on a panel I was on in AI, we don't want trash in, trash out. We want to make sure when we think about health disparities, AI actually helps us overcome those things, not build them in. So I think of it as exciting time. I think we look at OMB, also our other side of our AI work is looking for talent, people who can help us harness AI in the government. We often aren't seen as having the expertise to do that, but I know through our U.S. Digital Service, people want to serve, especially in tech fields. So we hope to harness all things that are possible through AI. And one way we see the use is through improved customer experience. Now, I talked about talent, this call to action of smart young people coming into the government, making sure we get this right, and making sure we harness this for good for the American people. Earley, who is, I'm happy to say, is on my team. I want to introduce her. She leads OMB's work with 38 of the nation's highest impact service providers on advancing their customer service impact. She's going to talk about how this administration's work to design government is improving and how our plan is to deliver services better for the American people. So she is one example, but if you know other smart people who would love to lend their talent to the American people in doing this better, Mo, when you hear from her, is a great example. We have smart people, we get good results. So thank you all very much.
So today I'm here to ask what more is possible in the world of government service delivery. Imagine that you were in this woman's shoes, returning home after a hurricane, seeing for the first time that the storm has destroyed everything. Days before, you had a clear picture of what the next week of your life would bring, and now you have no idea. You think there may be programs meant to help you navigate what's next, but that's not knowledge we carry with us. But imagine if, in one of the most uncertain moments of your life, government services and benefits reached you seamlessly when you needed them most. What if we could create a world where you've actually already started the process of receiving support for your losses? Years ago, when you moved to this neighborhood, you updated your address with the Postal Service and opted in to that address being used to prompt you with relevant government services and benefits at the right moments in your life. Not only did you opt in to share your information, you did so with confidence, knowing it would be used in a safe and tailored way and that your privacy would be protected. So today, instead of researching what's next, you receive an official, trusted text message asking if you want to submit your relief application since you live in a zip code that was impacted by a recent disaster. You say yes, and you review your pre-populated information needed to access resources to restore your home. So you submit the information, all from your smartphone, and then you're prompted with some custom next steps. One-click access to check application status, call this number to talk to a real person, and a list of the most relevant opportunities for you, like disaster food assistance, small business support, and the closest shelters nearby. You opt in for the things you need, and you sigh with relief because you didn't spend all day waiting in line, on hold, or driving around town trying to find help. Instead, help came to you, and now you can get back to taking care of other things, like your family, your work, and your future. Imagine if we all lived in a world where everyone, regardless of need or ability, felt supported by government services in one of the hardest moments of their life. if this wasn't concierge or white glove service, but standard and expected. Today's reality, unfortunately, often goes like this. While emotionally processing the loss of your family's home, you also have to figure out where to start. To get help, you wait on hold, and you fill out what feels like countless similar forms. You don't understand where your information is going, and you find yourself explaining yourself and your story multiple times. And through all of this, you still have to get your kids to school and go to work and do anything you can to feel normal. To some, it won't feel worth navigating this web, not knowing if you'll ever actually get the help that you need. The bad news is that today, accessing government services, whether after a natural disaster or otherwise, is not as easy as it could be and should be. The good news is that government has made great strides over the last decade that make it less burdensome to access services. Simpler forms and proactive communication on what to expect in clearer websites and easy to navigate digital tools, and even some personalized outreach, which can all go a long way. And while these improvements really do make things better for people, a gap still remains between the government's aspirations and its delivery. But the great news is that with the arrival of AI, there are new opportunities to reshape government services for the better, to give everyone the opportunity to feel relief rather than frustration, to have their relevant context understood, and to feel confident that their data and privacy are being rigorously protected. Throughout a full journey of accessing government services, if done right, AI could help bring new opportunities that can more effectively connect each individual with the right support in a seamless and secure way. But what does AI done right look like in government service delivery? To start, AI could help make online information about disaster assistance accurate and available at the right reading level so that you don't have to parse through legal jargon to understand your eligibility. It might help translate that information into the language of your choice so that you can feel confident you understand what documents are required to submit your relief application. A different AI tool might be used to convert the applications you submit, whether on paper, online, or even using smartphone photos, into digital data that can be safely stored and used for service access, so you can stop sharing the same information over and over again. Another AI-powered tool might recommend other programs potentially relevant to you, like that disaster food assistance, based on what you said you want and what evidence suggests people in your position might be interested in. And AI might help government be more responsive to what you need by making better use of what you are already telling us, like by summarizing call center recordings to make sure the issues you share on the first phone call are easily understood and referenced by the next government employees you talk to about your application. Standing alone, each of these examples could meaningfully improve the experience of accessing government services. But altogether, these and other AI tools used both on the front end to support the public and on the back end to facilitate the process could help accelerate our ability to make government services more connected, comprehensive, and contextualized for everyone. But in order to achieve this vision, we need to act now to strengthen our foundation for service delivery. If we want to be ready to use AI technologies effectively and responsibly, the work must start now to achieve these big ambitions. And while there are hurdles to overcome and risks to manage, we know what it will take to strengthen our service delivery foundation. We know we need to continue to rigorously manage individual privacy. This means modernizing systems and data and privacy laws and policies that are aligned with what people and programs need and what these technologies are capable of. It also means continuing to redesign services so that instead of being shaped by bureaucracy, services are delivered in a way that responds to people's needs. And as we do this work, we need to manage the inherent risks. As government starts prototyping AI tools and low-risk use cases, it will continue to be essential to measure trust in government services and to use feedback to understand public confidence in the government's ability to implement AI in a way that is safe, secure, and trustworthy. And last but not least, it is essential that government takes these next steps in a way that brings everyone along, regardless of digital access, differing abilities, or other needs. Reimagining a better future for government services is bigger than simplifying forms and saving time and ensuring the responsible use of tax dollars, though all of these are really great perks. It's really about bringing relief, not stress, after a hurricane. It's about easier access to support after having a child and simpler decision-making when navigating retirement. It's about earning public confidence that government can be trusted to deliver critical services and benefits while protecting privacy. And in the grandest sense, reimagining service delivery is about government capabilities that match our ambitions. And with the arrival of AI, our ambitions can be bigger than ever. Thank you.